Good afternoon, world. It's moments past noon in Waxahachie, Texas, deep in the heart of the Lone Star State. Today is May 15th, and this is episode number 62 of Grit and Good News. And we're broadcasting live from our palatial studio here in downtown Waxahachie in the shadows of the Ellis County Courthouse. And I'm your co-host. We got Sam the Man as our producer and running the board, keeping us all under control and honest and straight. And it's my great pleasure and honor to introduce your host, my friend. You love him, so do I, Scott Brooks.
Thank you, brother. Isn't Jeff looking sharp today? The man has got the hockey style going on. Look at that. Can you see him? Look at that.
Am I swimming in this thing?
Well,
I bought this thing 130 pounds ago.
it looks good. Yeah, we're running a minute late, Terry. Hey, Terry, Chuck, welcome to the show. We missed you, Chuck, on Tuesday, but glad you're here. But yeah, Jeff looks good. Uh, as we've discussed before, the game last night, we'll just do our playoff update before we get to your numbers. But the playoff update is that quite the game, 0-0 going into overtime for the Golden Knights versus the Edmonton Oilers. And then, man, you're talking about a dagger to the heart. When you have a game like that, you're at home, you need the win to stay in the series, and it's over. In a matter of a split nanosecond, it's over.
Yeah.
Chuck's asking you, what, Jeff? Knights? Come on. Jeff's a big-time Stars fan, but he's got, I don't know how many jerseys you got.
Only 33, and I played in about a dozen of them. Chuck, I got this. This was the sweetest gift, surprise gift from my wife. We started dating in 2014. I'd had my season tickets for the Stars for quite a while. 41 home games. She went to like 38 that first year. Okay.
Yeah.
And that second year, she went to 35, 36, something like that. And we had the Golden Knights on our opening night. And I was getting ready to go, and she came out with a package and opened it up. And it was the Cody Eakin Knights.
Nice. Was he playing for the Stars at that time?
He was playing for
Oh, he was playing for the Knights?
we had just lost them in the expansion draft.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I was so we went out there with my buddy Hockey Jeff and his wife Denise and another couple, and we had a great time. And I bought this hat out there, and that was the inaugural season for the Knights.
Did you wear that to the game?
Oh yeah.
Did you really?
No, to the game in Vegas. No, I wore.
Oh, you were out in Vegas.
Yeah. We went to Vegas.
Yeah.
To see
got it.
I think I was wearing my Alexiak green.
Oh, yeah.
Who we also lost in the expansion draft then to Seattle. All my favorite players. But that's, I think the expansion draft is a good deal in all sports, is a way to stock people. I mean, you can't just have a guy pay billions of dollars to get in the league, and then he's got trash. I mean, so
yeah, it's I mean I think their inaugural season they did pretty well.
They did, and then I think they won the cup in the second year, and it was stocked. What happens is a lot of times, I think you can protect like maybe 11 and two goalies or something. It may not be your 11 best players that you protect. You'll put people up that have got contracts that you may not want.
Yeah, right.
So there's a lot to that choice of
well,
that.
I know my favorite hockey player of all time is Marc-Andre Fleury. He was a goalie, and they may have gotten him in the expansion draft. I can't remember, but he was their goalie for I don't know how many years. He might have been their goalie when they won the Stanley Cup.
He was their goalie that year, and he was hurt, and we saw remember TJ Subban that we get on the commentary, great player for Nashville for a long time. He had a younger brother who was a goalie, and that's who we saw. And we won 3-0 at Vegas to break, and they'd had this huge winning streak at the top. We could talk all day about this.
We could talk about it. I want to get to more playoffs, but I want to welcome everybody. Scott and Jeff, as Jeff told you, we're Grit and Good News. We're here every Tuesday and Thursday from noon to 1 Central Standard Time, Texas time. And we talk about all sorts of things. We like to talk about politics, sports, cultural events of the day, Trump, all of it. So welcome to the show. We now are on Substack under Grit and Good News. So You can find all of our content there. But with that, so the update. So we got the Stars tonight, as the guys are talking about. They're up 3-1. They're in Winnipeg, so we win. If we can win that game, come home and rest for a little while, then we'll face Edmonton.
Who's going to get a nice rest because that series
Yeah,
is
it's
done at
over.
4-1,
That's
which
why I
is
say we need to win tonight.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, Edmonton, Dallas. I can't remember last. We may have played them last year. I can't remember, but that's going to be a great series if that's what it turns out to be. And then in the East, you got, oh man, Toronto laid an egg last night, didn't they? 6-1 or 2, something like that, against Florida.
Florida,
And so we got Florida's likely going to win that series because they go home now
right?
up 3-2. And then the other series in the East is what?
Capitals in
Yeah,
Carolina,
they
and
play
that's
tonight.
3-1, and
That's 3-1 Carolina, and I don't know where they're playing tonight. Probably back in Washington.
they are playing back in
Yeah,
Washington. Yeah,
so it's getting tight. So go Stars.
yeah. So I mean, they got to win three in a row. They got to win home,
Yeah,
and then at Carolina and home. But
that's
uh,
highly unlikely, as we know.
it's very unlikely.
So there's your update on the hockey. Update on the NBA. We got Sammy's team finally said so long, adios. Uh,
So long, it's been
now
good
now
to know you.
the jerk of all. I don't like Steph. Sammy loves him, but he can go home. He can watch from the pool. But so now we got who we got, Sam? We got
We got Timberwolves going to the Western Conference Finals,
which will be against
Oklahoma
either.
City or Denver. And then
Yeah,
on the other side, we got the Pacers versus probably the Knicks, but that series, Knicks or
you
Boston.
called it. You said that the Celtics are still going to be tough without
Oh
Jason
yeah.
Tatum. They kicked they kicked the Knicks' butt last night
hmm
at home. So we'll see if the Knicks can close it out tomorrow night.
Yeah, the Warriors losing 4 games straight is unacceptable when
Yeah,
you lose.
that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
So there you have it. That's the update. The Cowboys came out with their schedule yesterday, so we know we got some big games on their
I got
schedule.
it handy, and I'm happy with it in this regard. Um, I think I said before, I decided to keep my season tickets, even though I lost my wife also has tickets. We sit in her seats, which are better when we go, which is only 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah,
I thought I lost money last year owning those tickets,
yeah,
but I saw the list of teams and I said, I think we got teams that travel well.
yeah,
You want to cover that now or wait till
yeah.
our
No,
Cowboy section? Okay.
yeah. Go ahead.
So we always get good travel of out of town teams with
Right.
with Philly, Giants, and Washington. Those divisional games
Yeah,
make it for us.
yeah.
We got Green Bay also on a Sunday night in September at 7:20, and we've got Kansas City
On
on
Thanksgiving Day.
Thanksgiving Day, and then we got Minnesota on the 14th.
Yeah,
Now those teams all travel.
yeah. And
Yep.
those are that's a tough schedule right there. I
And
don't know about the Giants,
part of
but
the commonality is they're all northern teams,
yeah,
and they're all happy to come down, and
yeah.
those teams support their teams.
Well, I hope you don't lose money on it. The way not to lose money is for the Cowboys to get to the playoffs. You know what I
Well,
mean? When they
right,
tank
right.
and they tank like they did last year, and you got to sell tickets to Cowboys, Giants, or whatever.
I will not lose
Yeah.
money 2 years in a row.
So we got the Cowboys
Gotta
do
be
open
in
the NFL season on a Thursday night, September the 4th, against the Eagles. There,
there.
that will be a statement game.
Is that Thanksgiving game home?
Yeah,
Yes,
always home,
always.
always
Oh,
with
it
the
always is home?
Cowboys.
Oh, okay.
And you know who
Yep.
else is always home? Detroit Lions. And you know why?
Yeah. No.
Because back when they first decided they were going to do some Thanksgiving games and they asked around the league who would want to host them, we said we'd do it. Detroit said we'd do it. And so
Been that
it
way.
just kept on. And then in the last 5, 10, 15 years, everybody wants in on it.
Yeah.
And they say, no,
Well, I think that.
where were you when we needed you?
Yeah. I
And so now they've added a third game.
Right. So I think that third game, I know Detroit. Well, that's the Detroit. I think is playing Minnesota or Green Bay or Vikings, and I think the other game is usually a Bills or fit in there, but I can't remember who it is. So anyway, it won't. I mean, we're gonna blink and it'll be here before we know it.
Right.
Bama opens up the season against Florida State, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, there you go for our sports dose.
And the Cowboys have 6 primetime games,
Yeah.
3 home and 3 away.
Well, I mean, now with Pickens, although he better screw his head on straight. but let's assume that he has his head on straight for the season. The Cowboys they have the potential to be tough if they can stay healthy. Because when you got CeeDee Lamb more free and Pickens more free, man, it's going to be a strong 1-2 punch. Chuck makes me laugh. He said he's backing off the questions about the Vegas Knights because Rita bought you that jersey. Yeah,
Thank
you don't
you.
want to be on the wrong side of Rita.
Right.
I
Thank you.
can tell you right now, Chuck. Uh, yeah, we got the first game. The Eagles got the Cowboys' first game of the season up there, so we'll see. All right, a few more things on the update side. I don't know if you've heard, but uh, I don't know why they called this guy the suspected killer in Frisco. Why or alleged? He said he did it. I mean, he did it.
Hey, you're from the
Suspected.
journalism world. That's just how you got to do it.
Well, I mean,
That's how you got to do it.
if you're cowardly, you do. But that's he said he did it. We know he did it. We know he killed
Right.
Austin Metcalf.
Right.
But anyway, the big hullabaloo has
Hullabaloo.
been that this guy has now gotten out of jail. He's at home with his little ankle bracelet on. He can't leave, can't do whatever, which still, I mean, he's under mommy's wing, eating his mac and cheese.
He graduated from high school, but can't go to the ceremony.
Yeah, he hasn't graduated yet. He gets to graduate.
Excuse me.
So, I mean, the guy's getting some treatment. I suspect that if I went out and stabbed somebody at a track meet, I wouldn't get. Now, I'm not in school and all that, but I probably wouldn't be at home. And this dude representing that family is a thug himself. So, but that's the latest on Austin Metcalf's killer. What's his name? Sammy, what's his name? Car- Excuse me, Carmelo Anthony, and we'll keep you informed there.
And obviously he was named after Carmelo Anthony. The people already had that last name.
I
And
guess, yeah.
how do you think that makes? Well,
Carmelo Anthony.
well, his nickname was Mello, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The other update. I'm sorry, I got to talk about something real quick.
And Mello was
Excuse me.
out of Syracuse, wasn't he? Okay, well, let's get to our number 62s then.
Yeah, do number 60.
Jason Kelsey of the Eagles just recently retired.
Oh, yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
brother of Travis.
Yeah.
Okay. Brian Baldinger,
I don't.
11 years with the Cowboys and 3 other teams. He was a guard and he was undrafted and he was in the league 11 years. That's a nice
Wow.
story, right?
Yeah.
Remember Dale Hellestray with the Cowboys?
Yes, I do.
What was his position?
I don't remember.
It's
Center?
a specialty center.
Oh, long snap.
Long snapper.
Yeah.
16 years in the league, 9 of them with the Cowboys, also Bills, Ravens, and of course I can't read my writing. Got 3 rings and went to college here in town at SMU.
Yep.
Major League Baseball.
That's a weird number for baseball.
249 people wore that number, and I'm scrolling through, and I just keep seeing the number 1. I see a few 2s,
Yeah.
a 4 here and there, and there might have been 3 or 4 people more than 4 years, and I looked at them, and they were nobodies to me.
That's
so.
a farm system number, isn't it?
Yeah,
Farm league number?
we had that discussion last week.
Or coming up from the minors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So get a load of this story. We've been telling you about Robert Morris, who was the senior pastor at Gateway Church. He founded the church. The church has grown to, or was, before he was arrested or resigned, all this stuff that's been going on for the past year, reached, I think, a total of about 25,000 members across its various campuses or campi. He ended up going to court in Oklahoma where he was charged with, I think, 5 counts of bad stuff. There's a story out of the news yesterday that Robert Morris has asked Gateway, the church, for millions of dollars, church alleges in court filings. So I'm losing my voice and I apologize for that. So Gateway Church says that Robert Morris has asked them for millions of dollars, including ongoing retirement payments, that the church has denied him. Morris resigned from his role as Gateway's senior pastor last June after being accused of sexually abusing a child back in the 80s. He was indicted in March on 5 counts of lewd or indecent acts to a child. So he's already in trouble. And you know, with these pastors, there is a degree of narcissism that thematically kind of virally goes through these mega pastors. If you just look at Kenneth Copeland, if you look at uh, what's the dude down in Houston, Joel Osteen, if you look at Robert Morris, they all have this "I am God" complex, and no better sign of that than to see what Robert Morris is doing. It says here, shortly after the troubling revelations about his past conduct came to light last year, Robert Morris, shortly after that, now you've been accused of bad stuff. You normally would be in, you would think, be in the repentant.
Some of which I think we've heard elders and other people were aware
Yeah,
of way back and
right.
covered it up.
Yeah,
Continue.
no doubt. But you would think that a guy that's being charged with that would be in repentance mode, prayerful, out of the public's eye, lack of greed, and
Instead, he's saying
instead,
my lavish life must not
yeah.
be cut off.
And so again, he says, shortly after the troubling revelations about his past conduct came to light last year, Robert Morris reached out to Gateway. Listen to this. Gateway Church with a series of substantial financial demands. Gateway Church has chosen not to meet those demands. In response, Robert Morris has filed a lawsuit in arbitration seeking financial compensation. So I wanted to tell you what those demands are, which I don't know that you will, anybody watching or anyone in this room will believe.
So the big question though is, were any of those contractually
Yeah.
in the past?
Yeah, they were under contract, but there's also like in college athletics where it says
A
a coach's
decency
contract.
clause?
Well, yeah, or for cause, meaning that if a coach does something that is like this, illegal, sexual, whatever, that the school can fire them because that's for cause. It's because there was a reason for it. So
And therein maybe lies why he resigned before getting
yeah,
fired.
which is in here.
And okay,
Yeah.
so I mean,
He says, I think I have it in just a second to read that part to you, but in filings from Morris's lawyers included in the documents, the lawyers said Gateway had orally promised Morris, are you ready? $800,000 a year in retirement pay until he turned 70, then $600,000 a year after that until he died. Following his death, the attorney said the church agreed payments would continue to go to Morris's wife, Debbie, until her death. The church's filing said Morris argues he is owed just over $1 million in accrued retirement benefits, which, according to the filing, Gateway agreed in the contract to pay Morris within 60 days of his termination if the termination was without fraud and or cause. Um, Here's what Morris said. Morris said Gateway elders told him he would be fired if he did not resign, effectively making his resignation a firing. So why, if the issue rests on being fired, why would you resign if you knew that refusing to do it was going to get you fired, and that then you had a better shot at getting all this ridiculous, absurd money? Um, so that's the latest on him. He has a preliminary hearing in the child sex abuse case against him in Osage County in Oklahoma on September the 4th. So that's the latest on the Robert Morris saga. And you know what? I just don't. I don't. These guys just don't know how to stop. I mean, we all know that I like to buy stuff, you know, little shirts and things like that. But I mean, this is when these people get hooked on power, they get hooked on millions, and they get hooked on I am God complex. They just don't know how to turn it off. So here's a guy that's facing some time in the big house, I would say, and asking for $800,000 till he's 70. I think he's my age, so he's got another 7 or 8 years of that, and then 600,000 after that a year. First of all, what church would agree to do that? What entity anywhere would agree to do that? Uh, just let him retire. So anyway, that's the latest on Robert Morris. One more thing. The Menendez boys are now up for the possibility of being, their sentences is possibly they can be reduced. And if he wants to, the California governor, old Newsom, can commute the sentence and set them free. So the world is upside down. There is no doubt about it. And that just gives you a few examples of it. And it's crazy. So That said, we want to talk about congressional perks, talking about the world being upside down. We have people that are hired, or essentially hired, but elected to represent you and me and Sammy in Congress, correct?
Correct.
So they go there under, and I'm going to share with you the perks. They go under almost 200 grand a salary. Many of them are not wealthy when they go there, but by whatever means they come away being multimillionaire. Look at AOC. How could she possibly be a multimillionaire other than we know it ain't going to be because of her talent. We
She
know it
gets
ain't.
speaking engagements.
Yeah, I mean, she may, and I don't even know if they. I don't know if you can take money. You can.
Yeah.
She would have to be worth a 30 or a 40 something million she's worth now. That's a whole lot of speaking engagements. So where does all this stuff come from? I believe they found, and will continue to find under Doge, that these NGOs, these non-governmental organizations, kick back this money. And but anyway, here are congressional perks. This is for everyone in Congress. This is what they get. All right. This is as of May 2025, which is right now. Base salary $174,000 for rank and file members.
Reasonable.
Leadership salary, Speaker of the House, $223,500. Majority and minority leaders, $193,400. All right. So that again, in the world of politics or business or what have you, that's
I'm no beef. I'm no
yeah,
beef.
that isn't the issue. The issue is how they end up like Chuck Schumer
Right.
being worth 70 or 80 million dollars. Recent pay raise in early 2025, just a few months ago, Congress received its first salary increase in 16 years, raising base pay by 3.8% to $180,600. I don't know when that
Way
goes into
behind
effect.
cost of living. A
Yeah,
lot of people get 3.8 a year.
so now it's $180,600 is the base salary. Other perks, housing and living expenses. Since 2023, lawmakers can claim reimbursements for housing costs in Washington, D.C., including rent, hotels, and some ownership expense. Over half of the House members have utilized this benefit. Why wouldn't the other half?
How much is the benefit?
The benefit is, it doesn't say. It says with reimbursements on the total, reimbursements have equaled 4.1 million so far. And tax deductions, members may deduct up to $3,000 annually for living expenses incurred while away from their home district. It doesn't say what the reimbursements are for housing costs.
I don't know what they are, but it's reasonable that they get them. I mean, they
Well,
have
yeah,
to live
they
there.
do.
They got to
Yeah,
keep your house
again, no
back
gripe
home.
there.
I got
No
no
there.
problem.
Health and medical benefits. This is where I do have a gripe. Health insurance. Members enroll in plans offered through the Affordable Care Act exchanges with the federal government contributing to premiums. The Office of the Attending Physician provides routine medical care for an annual fee. Military medical access members may receive care at military treatment facilities with outpatient services in the National Capital Region provided at no charge. The issue with the health care they get, we can't get the same health care.
But the Affordable Care has never been a great health plan.
No,
So
it isn't. So it says that, but I know from talking to members of
okay.
Congress that the plan they're on that they get is elite, gold standard, and that they don't. I mean, they is a plan we can't get, and
I don't
that's
have that big a squawk on that either.
well, if we can't get it, then I have a squawk with it.
Well,
Or not we, but any average American. Retirement and pension. Listen to this.
all right.
After 5 years of service, members qualify for retirement benefits under the federal employees retirement system, which includes a basic annuity, Social Security, thrift savings plan, a 401 style plan, pension benefits. The pension amount depends on years of service and the average of the highest 3 years of salary with a cap at 80% of the final salary. Now that's not a whole lot different than us.
Right.
The difference is that if I'm 30 years old, if I'm AOC
Right.
and I go and I serve 5 years, which she already has, then at her age, she's entitled when she leaves to start getting this stuff, which is different than in the real world. We have to wait until we're 62, right?
Right.
Which is the first time you can,
There's
first
not that
age.
many young Congress people though. So
Well, I don't know what the average, I think there's going to start being, but the
yeah,
average
maybe.
age is higher. But when, there's a congressman from Texas that's real sharp. I can't from Brandon somebody, but you see him question these people that come in and have to have hearings. He's
Mhm.
31 years old, and he is excuse the expression, but a ball buster. But that is a perk that is unusual insofar as they only have to serve 5 years, regardless of their age. Um, so you win in Congress, well, in the Senate, there's 6-year terms. So you win one
Right.
race, you got your annuities and all this other stuff I just read. In the House of Representatives, you got to win 3 because each term is 2 years. So you got to win 3 to qualify, or 2.5. You got to be in 2.5 terms to qualify under the 5-year max. All right, let's see. Office and operational support. Members representational allowance, MRA, provides funds for staff salaries, office expenses, and constituent communications. In 2011, this allowance averaged 1.4 million per member. Travel allowance covers official travel between Washington, D.C. and the member's district. Franking privilege, that's a word I've not heard before, allows members to send official mail to constituents at government expense, excluding campaign materials. So if Jake Elsie wants to send all of us something, a flyer or something about a town hall,
Right.
then he gets paid
It
for it
it
there.
it is in effect a campaign thing, even though the
Yeah, when
campaign
isn't
hasn't started, and it's getting your name
yeah,
in front of people, and so
I would argue everything's campaign,
it's
right?
perpetrating the incumbency,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
right?
Hello, Beverly. Thank you for being here. We're happy to have you. Legal and ethical protections. Immunity. Members are protected from arrest during sessions except in cases of treason, felony, or breach of the peace. Do you know that there is hush money, so to speak? There's a fund, hush fund, that is used to pay for accusers slash victims of members of Congress on anything from sexual assault to harassment to whatever else. So, and it's classified, it's privileged. So we don't see who over the years has tapped into that fund to pay off somebody because of their own behavior.
And
That's
there's my new expression, perpetrating incumbency
yeah,
again.
that's unacceptable. Speech or debate clause provides immunity for statements made during legislative actions or activities. Stock trading, almost just 2 more here. Um, stock trading and ethics. This is a big deal because this is what prompted me to want to have this as a topic of discussion. Current regulations: members must disclose stock trades within 45 days and are prohibited from trading on non-public information. All right. House Speaker Mike Johnson has expressed support for a ban on stock trading by members of Congress to prevent conflicts of interest. And then the last thing, and I want to go back to that stock, but the last thing that they have under their perks is privately funded trips. Members may participate in trips funded by external organizations, which can include international travel. While legal, these trips have faced scrutiny regarding their relevance to official duties. So, with
That,
respect to stock,
that's how those guys went to El Salvador,
yeah,
right?
exactly. So, this is a story yesterday, May the 14th. A proposed bill that has been put forth would ban lawmakers and their spouses from holding, purchasing, or selling individual stocks while in office, but it allows investments in diversified mutual funds, exchange traded funds, or U.S. Treasury bonds. If passed, lawmakers would have 180 days to comply with the legislation. Unfortunately, too many members of Congress are engaging in suspicious stock trades based on non-public information. I just read for you that they are not allowed to trade on stocks based on non-public information. This bill is called the Pelosi Act. It's called the Pelosi Act because Pelosi's now worth close to 100 million, and has
And
been
her
known.
husband was a big trader,
Yes, and so uh, the reason it's called that is because there appears to be proof that she has used non-public information to make trade purchases or selling transactions to become wealthy. Under the proposed legislation, lawmakers who continue to make wrongful transactions will be required to hand over any profits they made to the U.S. Treasury Department. The House or Senate ethics committees could also impose a fine on such lawmakers amounting to 10% of each wrongful transaction.
CEOs and other top executives are handcuffed by insider
Yeah,
trading also, right?
true. Last thing here, a quote from the guy who proposed the bill. I watched Nancy Pelosi get rich through insider information, and I would be, oh, no, this is Trump. Trump says, I watched Nancy Pelosi get rich through insider information, so I would be okay with the ban, the bill, the Pelosi bill or Pelosi Act. If they send that to me, I would do it, said Trump. A reporter says, you'll sign it. Trump says, absolutely. So,
it continues to be remarkable that Donald is the only person to ever had that job that never had another political job in his life.
it is, and it continues to be amazing that Donald Trump uh, doesn't align himself with any PAC money. He doesn't align, I mean, he uses his own money. He's, I think, probably one of few, if maybe the only president in the history of the country that went into the presidency and lost money.
Right.
You know, they used to ask Rush Limbaugh, "Will you run for president?" Rush says, I wouldn't. One, I don't want to do that. Number two, my talents lie here, and number three, I make $50 million a year. Why would I want to go become president? Which makes me really like, if you know who Dan Bongino is. Dan Bongino is the assistant deputy FBI director who was
Long-time
making
guy on the
on
news.
radio.
Yeah.
Who was making? He used to be a Secret Service agent, but was making 4 point something million on his radio program and gave it up to go participate in the FBI. I appreciate that a lot.
I do too.
So there you have it. If you're looking for money to get rich quick, although they're trying to stem that tide, so to speak, one way to do it is to be elected to office.
Right.
And Lord knows, we got some people. You and I both watched them. Sammy even learning about who they are. These clowns that are get up there, like this dude that's now trying to get Trump in impeachment articles. He's from Michigan. He's Indian. 70-year-old guy wears a toupee, and even his own party saying, "Dude, put it away. You're embarrassing us." A guy like that can get voted in. And look at Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett's going to be 5 years vested before we know it.
Right.
We don't want to get started on her. All right. Anything else on that?
No, we got to roll.
We got
We're
time. We'll
running
get
late.
there.
All right.
Don't you worry.
Okay.
Rogue judges. What do you think? Are there rogue judges in this country? Meaning judges who think they got the Robert Morris complex. I'm gonna usurp the president's authority, and I'm gonna decide what goes on.
Well, we got a big piece on that in our inaugural issue of
Great good news.
no of Grit and Good
Yeah.
News on Substack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean that's the coming thing is that judges at the lower levels make a ruling and declare that is nationwide. It has effect. No, but I don't know what gives them the authority for that, and we need congressional action to stop it.
Yeah.
To get the balance of power back in balance.
Yeah. So the right now in Beverly, yeah, we love Dan Bongino too, and Chuck. I know. I figured you would agree. Right now, the Solicitor General of the United States, who is the guy who stands before, and represents the president, is arguing at the Supreme Court against trying to get the Supreme Court to stop these judges. So two avenues that are going to stop this nonsense. One is the Supreme Court, which again is leans 6-3 conservative. Now, of those 6 people, there are some lowercase c's in there that aren't always conservative. But that's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is what Mike Johnson's trying to do as a Speaker of the House, is to put legislation forward that says this is incredible and got to stop. I mean, I can't. It's very possible that a judge within our county, or certainly our region, could make a decision that tells Trump, you can't do what you're looking to do. You can't. I mean, thankfully, a judge, a Trump appointed judge yesterday said that this Aliens Act, I can't remember the exact name of it, but that says you can send, of 17 something, you can send these thugs back to where they belong. Said Trump can proceed with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't even think a judge should, even when it's in favor of something we want or I want, I don't think a judge should have that authority. It's not. It's a judge with a jurisdiction, and it just shouldn't happen.
Yeah, and I thought that legislation was the answer. It's interesting to see the Supreme Court weighing in, but the only reason that happened is somebody brought the suit and the suit went up
Yep.
there. So now there's a chance for it to happen from both sides, essentially having judicial, and they would only be doing that if they thought that they were
Yeah.
rogue and out of control.
Trump is the one who filed the lawsuit
Yeah.
saying I was elected. He was elected in part to clear this country up of illegal immigrants, particularly those who are criminals. And now judges from east to west, north to south, are telling him he can't do it. And so Trump is saying to the Supreme Court, I've got to be able to do what I was elected to do. That's what the American people want. 77 million of them anyway. That's what the American people want. I've got to be able to do that. And these judges, some goober somewhere is not, I mean, because I will say not all judges are the most brilliant people on the planet. Um, they're stopping me from doing this. And I've got a story right here in front of me. I don't know if you've heard the latest on this Milwaukee judge. The Milwaukee judge who was arrested, now has been indicted for helping an immigrant evade ICE. So she had just picture this. You're in a courtroom, you're the judge, you got an illegal immigrant in front of you. The illegal immigrant is in trouble. That's why he's in court. And he gets whatever he was getting. There was something punitive. I don't know if it was deportation or something else, but ICE was waiting on him outside the courtroom. Right. So the judge says, "Hey," and I'm doing a little act here, but ostensibly this is how it happened. Hey, to him and his attorney, come this way. Don't go out that way. Don't go out that way. Follow me. They follow her. She takes them out a back door, and they're gone. ICE never knew it until they couldn't apprehend him. So uh, the Department of Justice says, "Hang on just a second." And this is what happened. Judge Hannah Dugan was arrested by the FBI officials last month for allegedly knowingly, quote, helping an undocumented immigrant in her court evade ICE authorities and telling the officers in her court that they needed a warrant. The indictment accuses Dugan of falsely telling federal officials in April that they needed a warrant to come into her court during a scheduled appearance by Eduardo, whatever, an undocumented Mexican national who was in court on 3 misdemeanor battery charges. Dugan told the officers to proceed to the chief judge's office to obtain a warrant. So she tells them she knows they're out there ready to arrest this dude for deportation. She tells them they have to have a warrant to be in her courtroom. While they go out to get the warrant, she then pulls that little, "Come here, I'll take you out the back door."
Right.
So Dugan told the officers to proceed to the chief judge's office to obtain a warrant according to the criminal complaint, and she then escorted Flores Ruiz through a side door to evade federal agents. If found, and now she's been arrested, she pled not guilty today. If she is found guilty of both charges, which I don't, let's see, I know one exact charges on here. Let's see, could 6 years. On Tuesday, she was indicted by a grand jury on federal charges of concealing a person from arrest and on obstruction of justice charges. If she's found guilty, she could get 6 years in prison. So, uh, so the Department of Justice and the FBI has said, you know what? We're going to start arresting even judges that play this game, this nonsense. So these rogue judges it's so beyond the scope of what America is about. I'm sick of it. So go, go, go. All right. Random thoughts? You got any?
I got 5 of them. That's my quota.
At least 5 of them.
I think I'm just wired this way. You get what you work for, not what you wish for. I was at the golf course yesterday playing my typical mediocrity, and I pulled out my phone and said, Siri, take a note. Accept your inadequacies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Takes some courage. Takes strength.
You got to just, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not the best at everything, gracious.
Right.
I was wrong all along, but too hard-headed to change my mind. A great lyric
Yeah.
by the Marshall Tucker Band. And finally, I had the chance to see this happen yesterday when on the golf course. We played, some guys let us play through. When we got up there, and the guy pulled out his little tin. He says, "Any guys smoke cigars?" I said, "Yeah, I do." He says, "Take any one you want." I thought,
Nice.
yeah, that was so nice of you. That
Yeah.
was just so nice of you. The great John Wooden said, and I just love this, it's only a perfect day if you do a favor for a stranger that cannot be repaid. That cannot be
Yeah.
repaid. That
Yeah.
is beauty by the great John Wooden.
That is beauty. I think at the core of our souls, that's where we find the greatest happiness.
Yeah,
I mean, giving to someone that ultimately, I mean, you may say, nothing in return, nothing in return, nothing in return. We've had this discussion before. Ultimately, if somebody's given me something, if you've given me something, ultimately, I'll give you something back. I'll just have to do it subtly or a long time
right,
from now.
right.
But the idea that you help somebody that cannot repay you or do anything for you is the ultimate in giving. Really, it's Jesus in action. But in the few times that I've had that experience, and there needs to be a whole lot more times I would do that, but it is a wonderful, wonderful feeling
It really is.
to give to somebody,
Yeah,
and to give when they can't give back. It's just an amazing thing. It's a beautiful thing. You're right.
yeah.
Beverly says Soros is money. Put money in his. I agree with you. Soros' money is dirty money for sure. Those are great random thoughts.
Thank you.
I've seen it now a couple of times. This quote, your fourth one there, I think, about recognizing your own inadequacies. Um, there's this quote, or it may not even be a quote, it's a part of a story. The guy talks about if you get on the wrong train to go somewhere, get off of it
Right.
so that you don't end up in the worst of places. Get
Yeah,
off when you realize you're on the wrong is the same thing. Is to
yeah,
say, I know I was wrong, or that what I'm doing is wrong. I'm getting off that train now, and I'm going to rectify it. Far too many of us, because of what, pride, because of fear, and maybe other things, stay on the train, or the hope that maybe my train, this wrong train, will get me closer to where I'm going.
yeah. And you may not be able to uh, right your inadequacy. Inadequacy doesn't always mean you did something wrong or anything. It just means you're not good
Yeah,
enough.
yeah,
You know what? I wasn't good enough to make the college hockey team. I
right,
wasn't this or that or the other.
yeah.
You accept it.
Yeah, you can give yourself ulcers, spend a ton of money, lose a lot of money by sticking with something that just
Yeah,
is not is you're not adequate to do. You can't be stubborn. It's like that old billboard that says, "This year, 1 million men will die from stubbornness,"
yeah,
and a man went up and spray painted on there, "No, we won't."
right.
It's the same kind of thing.
And I keep saying I can't play crappy enough golf to quit because you know that when you come to say, okay, I'm not that good, but I hit some shots.
Yeah,
I hit some shots and it's fun.
yeah.
And
It's
I'm with
that's
my buddies and I'm outside
Yeah,
and
it's not. I mean, even if you shot, you'll be happy if you shot in the 70s or low 80s or whatever. At the end of the day, you didn't get anything for it.
right.
You get the enjoyment of playing.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you shot your best score in a long time yesterday, you were happy, but
Yeah.
the memories are of the time we spent with our buddies,
Right.
I think. Anyway, great. Those are great
Thanks, sir. Thank you.
random thoughts. Okay, under our he said, and same. This includes Sammy. Um, how about them Cowboys?
How
So we
about
got
them?
Pickens and Lamb together. We got a healthy Dak. We've got
Well, we don't know that.
well, let's assume he's healthy. I
Uh,
mean, ought to be. Um,
he never really came back from the first injury.
yeah.
We
Well,
got we got a Dak that can take a snap from center.
let's
Okay.
okay. Well, let me ask you this question, Sammy. You can weigh in too. If Dak isn't healthy, who's our number two?
I don't know his name, but I can tell you.
Tell me.
I don't know his name.
Well, what can you tell me?
About him.
Who's our backup quarterback?
If Dak's not ready, who's going to be our quarterback?
Cooper Rush is gone.
Rush is gone.
He came from the Patriots.
Yeah,
I don't know his
he
name.
came. He played at Tennessee. Starts with a B, I think. You can look it
Um,
up. Jeff, ever played Top Golf, and do you consider that game more like miniature golf?
I've played Top Golf once. Yeah, I don't like hitting from mats personally.
Yeah,
I like hitting from grass.
yeah. Top
So,
Golf's a cool, fun place to go with
yeah.
family and friends.
Oh, and it is way more than miniature golf. Miniature golf is just putting,
Yeah, well,
which is fun.
here's what's
Get it to that
coming.
windmill. Time that windmill.
What's coming, and there may be already one in Ellis County that I don't know of, is this virtual golf. I
Hmm.
mean, it's coming,
Yeah.
and we'll be able to, if we wanted to. Now, part of the fun for me is being out in the elements, nice elements.
Right.
I'm
Right.
not a cold weather or rainy weather golfer, but is the breeze and the golf carts and the fun with buddies and the sunshine and all that. That's at least half of the reason I go. So virtual golf takes that out of the equation. But I mean, to be able to go play around in what, 2 hours or 3 hours inside in a course that you
Mm-hmm.
pick,
Right.
would be kind of cool, like they do with that new golf league, which is expanding, by the way.
So
Um,
Pickens and Lamb, are they unstoppable? I tell you what, when you got a good receiver to complement a good receiver, it makes them both better. I think that's a good deal. This is not the first time that the Cowboys have taken on troubled guys with baggage.
well,
It's not. As a matter of fact, it's our history, it's our trend,
yeah, to
and
that
we're
point,
known for it. But
look what I
that's
wrote. A lot like Des Bryant, George Pickens. This
hmm
situation is turning out to be, in terms of both personality. Des
hmm
was always a little flaky. George Pickens has proven to be flaky in the past, but Stephen Jones says that they did a lot of work on talking to people who played with
hmm
George Pickens, and uh, Stephen Jones says his teammates love him. Um, and
and that's
so,
huge, and
yeah,
that's
that is
huge.
huge. So I think we got a guy that's a lot like Des Bryant, super talented. I don't remember, Des Bryant would have been teamed up with, I can't remember. I know Cole Beasley was on the team then, but I don't know who our number two
Well,
was.
we had Amari Cooper.
Yeah, but they didn't play together.
Mm.
Des, I don't know. They didn't. Des was long gone before we got Amari Cooper. So,
Terrell Owens was an issue,
mhm,
obviously. Yeah.
yeah. So this is going to be exciting, assuming Dak is healthy. Tony
Joe
Brissett,
Milton.
Joe Milton,
Yeah.
yeah, from Tennessee, um, through Boston. I mean, New England. So we'll see. It's going to be here. I mean, they
It's
start camp in July.
it's all the whole season. It's all about healthy. You gotta be
Well,
healthy.
I agree. Terry says should have a good running game. I mean, any running game is an improvement over what we had last year. Although I think
Right.
Dowdle was a better runner than.
We have Miles Sanders now, and then we got that dude from the Broncos.
Yeah. So I mean, there's hope, but we say this every year, don't we? You know who I'm
We
gonna
got the talking part done.
you know who I'm gonna be excited to see play in the NFL? My boy Scattaboo.
Scatterboo.
And you know what division he's in? Ours. He plays for the Giants.
Oh, he does.
Yeah. So
Yikes.
we're gonna see him twice a year, and he's a little maniac
Mm-hmm.
from Arizona State. Remember him last year?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
should have beat Texas, if you
yeah.
ask me. All right, you got a poem today,
I
Jeffrey?
got a poem.
All right, let's hear it.
Got another funeral. I've had three people of my life, close people, die in 20 days, and I'm going yet again to Minnesota. And
When do you leave? Did you get your
I leave Monday. I come back Wednesday. Funeral is Tuesday, and part of this poem, you heard part of it in my nickname poem the other day. And this poem was called R.I.P. Tommy.
hmm,
Little League coach Al Hartman taught Tommy about putting up the bats. Don't put them up till the last out. T.S. learned and didn't pout. He was a bat boy on this team.
mhm.
Tommy, the doctor, told me this at a Dallas Stars game. I was packing up my binoculars, and Tommy gave me a big shame. A youth spent on St. Paul's East Side was to Tommy a source of pride. Blunt to a fault, his feelings he did not hide. He was quite a dancer without being a prancer, always showcasing the lady. T.S. knew this was the dancing answer.
Mhm.
I never saw Thomas get in a fight, though I often thought that he might. He knew that his words could leave a big bite. Tommy got his name at an intramural hockey game. He applied a half clean hanky on a co-ed's face. Puck had hit her in that place. Then from the ice came a roar. Hey, look, it's Tommy, the doctor. Stories about Tommy are a legend. They go on with no end. He will never deny them. In further details, he will end. The Polish last name is hard to pronounce, and on every syllable, a mistake will likely bounce. Sapkowitz or Sapkowicz. You choose which. In many ways, Tom's life was tough, and he could be mighty rough. The body failed before the mind. Mercifully, enough was enough. Now it's off to the pearly gate. Our Maker will determine Tom's fate. His afterworld will now begin. I'm betting the doctor gets in. R.I.P. Tommy.
Yeah, awesome. That's a great poem. When did you write that?
This week.
How did he say his last name?
He said it both ways. I think it was more commonly Sopkowitz, and then he always said, "But I've heard other parts of the family they call it Supkovich, and either one's considered acceptable."
And
It's
how,
Sopkiewicz. I've turned it into a little lilty, sing-songy song that I'm going to incorporate at the end of my obit and try to get
oh, yeah,
everybody in the church
to go along with
singing
you.
it with them.
And how old was he?
69 years old.
Yeah, young.
Yeah,
Young, really, when
man.
you think about it.
Yeah,
Thank you. Chuck offers his condolences.
thank you. Appreciate that.
And Beverly, yes, the Rangers, we were talking about before the show, Rangers are 4-game winning streak. So, and
Yeah.
who do we play, Sam? Who now? Who do the Rangers play now? Houston.
Houston.
Where? Here or there? Yeah, so now we got to keep it up. We've been playing the Rockies. We could beat the Rockies. But yeah, good to see the Rangers doing well. All right, it's that time of the show where we do our This Day in History. We've been taking it on the nose here lately.
A
So
pair of 2 and 4s in a row, and
what'd you get today?
I squeaked a 7-0, and 3 times I was 1 year off the bonus. So
Ooh,
I hope you can
we need
do.
to have an all-time record score.
I think we had one. I think I had 11-0
Did you
a
really?
couple months ago.
All right,
Had a
let's hear
bunch
it.
of bonuses. Here we go. President John Adams ordered government offices to relocate from Philadelphia to the newly constructed city of Washington in the Federal District of Columbia. When did we go to DC instead of Pennsylvania?
1802.
1814.
Very nice. 1800.
Good. Yes. Sorry, Sam.
President Abraham Lincoln established the Department of Agriculture.
1864.
Look at him. When was the Civil War? You're on it.
1860.
1861 to 65, 1866, 65. So I will say 1863.
It was 62.
Ah,
I picked I picked 65 with the Civil War ending. I was kind of surprised that when you're got your hands full with the Civil War that you're
Yeah.
busy creating a Department of Agriculture.
What was the first question and answer?
um
Chuck and
John Adams
what?
relocated?
1800.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Y'all are off just that much.
Chuck
Okay.
said 1863.
That was the second question, I think.
Here we
Yeah.
go. The Walt Disney character Mickey Mouse appeared for the first time in front of a public audience in a test screening of the short Plain Crazy. Mickey made his formal debut with the release of Steamboat Willie 6 months later,
1902.
1943.
1928.
Mm.
I had 29.
Wow.
Less than 2 weeks after the shooting at Kent State, I was going to have you pull up the song Ohio by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Oh, yeah.
Like a Chuck's already on it.
Less than 2 weeks after the shooting at Kent State University, 2 black students at Jackson State College in Mississippi were killed and 12 were injured when police opened fire during a student demonstration.
1971.
1973.
1970.
Oh, my goodness.
We all three got it.
Alabama Governor George C. Wallace was shot and left paralyzed while campaigning for president in Laurel, Maryland, by Arthur H. Bremer, who would serve 35 years in prison for the attempted murder.
What was the last date?
72.
I'm going to guess 81.
78.
72.
Oh,
Rita struggled with this pronunciation, and I was going to look it up. I'm going to struggle with it too.
I'm not
A
doing too
jury
good.
sentenced Doshkar, Dzhokar, Zarnev, Tsarnaev,
Marathon bomber.
to death for the 2013 marathon bombing, killing 3 and leaving 260 wounded. We're looking for the sentencing of him, not
Oh, because we were going to say we
the
used it as
race.
a date.
Okay.
Night.
The race was, the bombing was 13,
I'm gonna say 2016.
2017.
15.
Dude.
We're all around it. Yeah.
I'm
Pres-
5-1 so far.
President Donald Trump formerly unveiled Operation Warp Speed to speed up development of COVID-19 vaccines and quickly distribute them around the country.
21.
2020.
21.
2020.
2020.
Booyah.
The bonus is in effect.
Yes, sir.
That's dumb.
That's dumb.
Oh
Loving
yeah.
it. 7-1.
7-1.
Is that all of them?
I had 7-0. That's all of them.
Oh, you were 7-0.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Look at Chuck got it,
Mm-hmm.
or got one of them. Wasn't one of them 2000?
He just got 2 of them.
You got
2020 and
15.
2015.
Yeah, way
Yeah.
to go, Chuck.
Yeah.
Terry's in there. All right, so there you have it. Let me get to our grit. We've got all the grit now. We got the good news. It's not a video today. I just wanted to read something that I thought was really funny. It caught my attention. We know with social media how much business. Well, first of all, a lot of people put their business up on for the world to see, complete with what they ate, what their illness is, what their most recent complaint is. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Some people are just crazy with that. This is about how this guy learned to mind his own business. All right, which is a really good.
My mom and dad used to always say MYOB.
Mind your own business,
Did
man. What
you
kind
ever
of
hear
country?
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, so this guy says, how I learned to mind my own business. I was walking past the mental hospital the other day, and all the patients were shouting, 13, 13, 13. The fence was too high to see over, but I saw a little gap in the planks, so I looked through to see what was going on. Some idiot poked me in the eye with a stick, then they all started shouting, 14, 14, 14.
I've heard that
Thought
before. I've
that
heard
was
that
pretty
before.
good. All right, so there you have it for grit and good news for today. We will be back on Tuesday. Jeff has got to be in Minnesota, so we're going to try something a little different, I think, with the show on Tuesday. But we'll see you on Tuesday. Of course, you now can get us under a subscription model, $5 a month. If you go to Substack.com / or / whichever one it is, Grit and Good News, you will find us there. We have all of our content, including our audio versions of our content. We have our shows. We have things that Sammy's compiled and put together. So we love what we're doing. So for $5 a month, you can find us there, and we would appreciate your support. Thank you, Chuck. You have a blessed weekend too, bud. All right. So with that, Jeffrey, it's all yours.
Make it a great day and put a smile on somebody's face.
Amen.